Did a little bit of research last night about how the media coverage of the shutdown. The Washington Post.
It was like doom and gloom.
They ran over the course of October 1st to October 16th.
Can I guess?
Yeah, guess. How many stories did the Washington Post run between the beginning of the shutdown and the end of the shutdown last night about victims of the government shutdown? It's 16 days. How many stories did they run?
I'm going to go 32.
220.
Are you kidding me?
220 stories.
That was real shock and awe, by the way.
Right?
Holy cow.
Yeah, the WashingtonPost.com.
I'm
between
thinking
its
a
wires,
couple a day, you know.
Right, no.
No.
Try again. No, like more than 10 a day. More than 10 a day.
Wow.
And the stories were just absolutely absurd. There were tons of different stories about different aspects of the furloughed employees. They were really suffering. There's a story that the Washington Post ran. We're talking about the media coverage of the government shutdown. The Washington Post ran a story about how federal workers should keep engaged when they were back on the job, how they should dress while looking for other jobs. There were two stories about a local NASA club that was performing Stephen Sondheim's Into the Woods and getting that production together
while
the furlough was going on.
You know what, though? I really wonder how many of those furloughed workers were out there pounding the pavement looking for other jobs.
Come on.
Did they interview one, or were they just speculating?
Oh, they've probably interviewed one. But
one of the two.
One of the two. I mean, there were stories about furloughed workers attending knitting classes, furloughed workers trying to use their BlackBerries.
I read about the furloughed workers, some of them volunteering, because they had volunteered. There was a handful of them that had volunteered at this place a couple blocks from the White House. Mm-hmm. So in a photo op, President and Michelle Obama went over there to tell them thank you for their service.
Well, my personal favorite.
You know, we're shilling for the press about, here they serve the people all the time in their regular jobs. And when the Republicans don't do what they're supposed to do, they still volunteer to help.
Right, and it's ridiculous. My personal favorite story from the Washington Post during the government shutdown was a story that was actually called Take Them Back, Please, and it was about spouses of furloughed federal workers asking for the government to take back their spouses because their spouses were driving them insane being at home.
Interesting. You know how there were, like, Hurricane Sandy babies? Mm-hmm. I wonder.
Oh.
Or the opposite, based on that article, maybe there will be, like,
a lot
furloughed
of divorces. A lot of furloughed divorces.
Babies or furloughed divorces, we'll find out in the next year.
So